money in Calgary. But they do move up one spot, came out of Bedard. And with that one game, Bedard all of a sudden his projections from this year changed dramatically. And I would expect that to happen. Bedard's probably going to go 3 points dropping, basically. And Seattle doesn't move up any further because they lose against Edmonton. So every time it looks like maybe they're ready to pull themselves out of this funk they've been in, they suffer another setback. So for Seattle, a team that needs some more wins than what they have, they've won 5 out of 15 games. Dropping 5 spots from last week is Nashville. Nashville had a rough and hot 5 and 9 now on the ice. The weird part is watching as the stats that their goalie, Charles, is putting up weren't pretty good. And then every time Nashville gets a goal, they off the other goalie. It's one of those things I know I've talked about for years. I know eventually going to get here. It's just odd because they're 5 and 9. So to me, once you reach a point where your team's, meandering and not doing very well, I don't, of course, I don't go for goalie mockery anyway. There may be a video on that at some point soon. But at any rate, yeah, Nashville down to 26. Once I talk about goal lockers, there's reasons I have this thing. But yeah, Nashville ends up in the bottom row. That's the first time they've been on the bottom row this year. I don't know if it's the first, but they're there again. Number 25. And so they're right now a team that's won 7 out of 14 games. And I don't think they're that bad. They're actually able to score. There's some talent there. You can see that progression with Arizona, so I still don't expect them to be a playoff team. They're fun to watch. In that game against Nashville, they showed the ability to come back and win a game that they would have given up on a year ago, 2 years ago. Number 24, dropping 5 spots from last week. Minnesota very close to that bottom row. The back-to-back losses hurt them this week. Minnesota finds themselves a couple of games below NHL 500. They're just not getting the wins when they need them. The future is still bright here. You've got Boley, you've got Ross, you've got some good young players, you've got some young goalie, but the presence is not as exciting. And so the trading out of Addison to bring Bogosian, I totally get it. We'll see if that works for them sooner or later. But at any rate, right now, not much is working for Minnesota just on a regular basis, and so they're 24th. Number 23, dropping 1 spot from last week is Buffalo. Inconsistency. So again, the inconsistencies end up being in this row. It means that they very well end up in a playoff spot by the end of the year, but the inconsistency hurts them. So tonight against Pittsburgh, there were good stretches of that game for Buffalo, absolutely. And then Pittsburgh just kind of takes over and they win the game by a final score of 4-0. So for Buffalo, they're 23rd on this week's power rankings. They dropped 1 spot. But remember, last week, they were actually at 7 spots. So they're 6 points ahead of where they were 2 weeks ago. Yeah, so there you go. Number 22 on board this week, Washington. So the Capitals move up 5 spots from last week. A 5-point jump. Ovechkin gets a couple goals tonight, including an empty netter. Washington's play has started to turn around. This is good news if you're a Caps fan, right? The Caps were definitely getting results, but they weren't necessarily playing really well. Now they're starting to play better, and that's the reason they moved up from the bottom row. And yeah, that was 5 points up to 17 next week, but maybe even higher. Again, I feel like this is one of those moments in the season where now that we're into the second month, there's going to be some teams to go on a bit of a run here in both directions. So I would expect some movement next week on the power rankings as well. Number 21, dropping 8 spots from last week. 8 spots for Tampa. So I know that Johansson's one that we're all rooting for, and obviously the confidence is going to have to root for him as well. They can walk through that hit tonight without Kucherov. He wasn't there. So for the Tampa Bay Lightning, a team that wants to get into the playoffs and show that hey, they still got it and they can still go on a run. They're finding themselves ways to lose right now, and the loss of home again. This was a tough one. I'm going to explain this. So Philadelphia ends up dropping a couple of spots. Philadelphia dropped more than that. But with the wins against Anaheim and now against LA, they moved back up the board to the number 20 spot. So from where they were last week, they dropped 2 spots. The loss against San Jose was tough, right? That was a game that they just didn't look very good. The Game against Anaheim, I thought was also a reflection on how Anaheim is kind of peaked a little bit. So Anaheim hasn't taken a major drop this week, but I do feel like for Anaheim this week coming up Q1. But for Philadelphia, now they've gone on the road, they've won in California. I want to see what's going to happen after that. So Philadelphia is still not too far from the second row. But yeah, they're 20th overall. Their overall record is 7-7-1. And a lot of teams are in around that range, right? So again, you're in a spot where a lot of teams are. Well, let's get into 19 here, and I'll give you an example. So number 19 on the board, moving up 4 spots from last week at St. Louis. They absolutely destroyed Colorado tonight. Destroyed them. A St. Louis team that has struggled with getting goals, all of a sudden is. Robert Thomas was struggling. He's not struggling anymore. Bruce didn't have a point. Now he's got points. The players that you want to see playing better for St. Louis all of a sudden are. Maybe it's that you look at the standings and you realize third place in the Central is really kind of wide open. Like, there are a number of teams that could compete for that third spot. But Nashville being off, right? Minnesota being off as well. There's no thing there. And with Colorado looking vulnerable, the way St. Louis pasted them tonight, won't be, right? So yeah, St. Louis moves up 4 spots from last week. Otherwise, yeah, Philadelphia would have kept that spot. So who's number 18? Well, the team of Dirks that went in and knocked Philadelphia down is actually also from Pennsylvania and Jersey and Murray, because Pittsburgh moves up 8 spots. So Pittsburgh, 4-game winning streak for them right now. They've gone from the 3-6 start to now they're 7-6, and they're really starting to play. So for Pittsburgh tonight, that shutout victory over Buffalo, it ticks all boxes you want if you're a Penguins fan. You get a good game from Jarry, right? You're getting production now from Carlson to go along with Crosby's produced the whole way through. This team is a growing concern now. If you're in the East, we'll see how far Pittsburgh can go with this, but it is a 4-game winning streak. It's very impressive. They move up 8 spots. Number 17, moving up 3 spots from last week, is Ottawa. So Ottawa moves up. They win that game against Calgary. Now what impressed me there was it didn't feel like they were dealing with any kind of issues with their confidence coming off that loss against Vancouver, because they outplayed Vancouver for a large stretch in that game. I would have totally understood if they had like a setback tonight and had a hard time. But no, they came through, they got the victory. It was an impressive win for them. It wasn't really in much doubt once you got to the third period. So for Ottawa, and again, I look at the game against Vancouver. I did not punish them for the game against Vancouver because I felt like they were the better team for a lot of that game. And that's part of what I try to do with the power rankings. It's not just wins and losses, how you win, how you lose. I try to keep track of all that as much as possible when I decide on it. So Ottawa ends up moving at 17. Number 16. And dropping 5 spots from last week at the Islanders. Now, if you want to look at a team that could have a precipitous drop next week, it's the Islanders. So the Islanders dropped 5 spots from last week. I could see them down as far as, say, 23rd if they have another week like they just had. Yeah, the Islanders, there are some concerns. I would have fun as an Islanders fan. The game against Washington tonight, part of that concern. And, yeah, protecting leads. That's become an issue for them, just overall from shift to shift. The games are so fast, which is like a staple of Islander games, but it feels like there's way more shots than there are on Islander games. And it feels like they're not really playing Islander style of hockey that often now. So, yeah, they're 16th and they're threatening to go way down the board next week. Number 15, moving on 2 spots from last week, is Montreal. So for Montreal, they have gradually moved up the board. And again, when I look at power rankings from others around the internet, they have Montreal pretty low, which I get. I totally get it. Like, if you look at chances, you look at what they're generating, but you look at the results, it's nice to get a win against Boston, right? And a lot of heart of them against Boston, and I feel like they're starting. With over 200 players on it, Woodford Reserve Bourbon is a spectacle for the season and the senses. They play better, so the results were really heavily leaning on the goaltenders early in the season. I agree with that assertion from others. But now they're starting to play better, and you can see that there's a belief they have when they have a lead or even when they're down. And yeah, I think spot of last week is Anaheim. So I do feel like I might have changed Anaheim, but I think, hey, it's kind of fun if they're a good team when we go down there and we can't see them. I haven't won since I said that, so I'd like to apologize to Jets fans everywhere. So I will counter that with fine. I don't think so. I know they're just terrible. Anaheim stays in the same spot as last week. If they have another week like they just did, they will not stay there. So that's the basic rule of it. They will not stay there if they have another week like this one. Some tough breaks here and there. Yeah, okay. They had the 6-game winning streak. Lose a couple of games when they get home. All right, we'll see what happens here. But again, disconcerting loss against Philadelphia, but there's another California team we haven't gone to yet that I will discuss in a little bit when we get there. So number 13 on the board, dropping 4 spots from last week is Detroit. So for the Detroit Red Wings, they had that winning streak at the start of the season. Things kind of fell apart after that break. They haven't been able to get that back. But today they had an impressive win against Columbus, which I can't down here. But for Detroit, there's no things going on here with Detroit that make me think, this team may very well still be a playoff team when all is said and done. But yeah, they fly out of the top 10. For the first time in 3 weeks, I think it's 3 weeks in the top 10. So let's see if they bounce back next week. Number 12, same spot as last week is Toronto. Toronto gets the bounce back victory tonight. By bounce back, I mean Samsonov. Great start for Samsonov. Alright, fine. Everything goes well. And Vancouver loses the game against Toronto. But it's a matter of consistency and seeing that for more games in the next week. What will happen in the next game? It's pretty easy on Saturday night in Hockey Night in Canada. You got the next team coming in San and want to get up to that game. Okay, we got to go out there and show them what for, and we've got all this pressure to, under the team to this point, and they can. I know they can. This is a very talented team. I do think pulling Reeves out of the lineup and seeing what that did for the fourth line, that may very well have been part of the trick here to getting them out of that. It's not like they've been getting blown out either. So the fact that they're losing close games, you have to look at every member of the team, and I think the team they put up there tonight, much more geared towards Number 11, dropping 3 spots New Jersey. What impresses me with New Jersey, and I mean that, is that they have managed to still stay relevant and look okay without losing one of the most important forwards and the most important two-way players, and then losing one of the most dynamic players in the entire league. And still looking dangerous, still looking fast, still having enough in their lineup that they can win their share of games. I think it says a lot about New Jersey Devils that they are. That said, they did drop this week. They're no longer in the top row. We'll see if they drop again next week. Number 10, also dropping 3 spots from last week in Colorado. So for Colorado, 5 losses, 6 games will keep that. Go all the way to 3rd, 10th with the power rankings board. And the loss against St. Louis, I'm not going to overreact to it. If I was going to overreact, it'd be only or something like that. Maybe the first year I did power rankings, I would have attempted to do that. I'm not going to do it. But is this concerning? Yeah. And I would imagine Avalanche fans are concerned as well. They've had injury problems. Yes, they still have injury problems. However, this team should be playing better than the team at home against St. Louis. It's not just that they're losing, it's how they're losing. So when they lose these games, they have 3 shutouts against them. They just don't look like the same team. So for Colorado, a team that was favored to win a Stanley Cup by a lot of people after the Stanley Cup final ended with Vegas there, the Vegas won the Cup. I don't know how many people would say Colorado. I would imagine that the number is nearly as high as it was before the season started. Number 9, rounding out the second row, moving up 7 spots from last week is Winnipeg. The Winnipeg Jets are playing well. I'm very impressed with what the Winnipeg Jets have been able to do. This is why when I see Jets fans saying, well, it's a mediocre team, so, you want to manage this to improve things. It's not a mediocre team, it's a good team. And what impresses me too is they're getting results, even though Halifax numbers haven't been stellar. So this is bad news for the rest of the NHL. that Hellebuyck's going to get better numbers, and Winnipeg's going to be harder to beat when that happens. The Jets, they look like a legit playoff team right now. Pretty consistent results. I'm impressed with their first, second, and third line. I like the Jets. Number 8, moving up 7 spots from last week as well. And I really think they've got things figured out at this point. That's Florida. The Florida Panthers, who were meandering in this race for the board for a while, now they're back in the top row. Are they going to stay there? My guess would be yes, because they're starting to get those results. Markov's playing really well. LeBron's been excellent, and they're about to get Ekblad Montour back. I have no reason to think that Florida's going to necessarily slow down. Who knows? Maybe they end up going on a run here and they end up first. That's possibly all possible. Toronto could be first, right? Number 7, not all. I know there's people who say, I didn't believe it. Number 7 on the board, moving up 3 spots from last week. Carolina's back in the top row after a couple weeks outside of the top row. Carolina 9-6. Is that a mediocre record for Carolina? Yes, but in the overall grand scheme of things, 29 out of 15 games is good. Their road record is getting better. They go into Tampa Bay tonight, and they handled it. They made it look relatively, which is...
Your puppy will grow into a dog over 3 distinct stages, and sooner than you thought, they're almost grown. But right from the start, Royal Canyon's Puppy Growth Program provides the nutrients your dog needs for an ideal foundation to a healthy life.
Scary for the rest of the team. Yeah, Carolina's starting to run into form again. Number 6, dropping 2 spots from last week. And again, I don't want to overreact, but the LA Kings at home are not like the LA Kings on the road. The LA Kings on the road are 7-0-0. The Kings at home are 1-3-3. Going on with LA at home. So this is concerning, and again, if we see this record stay as it is, this is why I was talking about this in the review. I'll mention it here as well. I kind of feel like maybe I should have a power rankings like I do every week, and maybe every 2 weeks I do a split ranking where I rank teams at home and how they're playing on the road. Because there are some teams that play really well at both, and there are some teams that really, really don't. The Kings are one that really, really don't. You're ranking road warriors, they might be number 1 in the NHL. You're ranking teams at home, they might be near the bottom. So the Kings that lost tonight against Philly, are they going to turn it around? Is this just well, it's only been 7 games this year, or is it concerning? Your Kings fans, no, it's concerning. And then the worst part is, of course, they win all those games on the road, which means the tickets are in demand, and then you go watch them at home, and they suck. You're sitting there, and you're like, hey, Will Ferrell's here. Why aren't they better for Will Ferrell? Doesn't anybody care if Will Ferrell's here? They've only shown him on camera 65 times tonight. Doesn't anybody? Every LA game, it always gets there. Every LA game, they have to show Will Ferrell at least 55. I get it. He's a celebrity, but it does feel just like, there's nobody else, like, aren't there normally celebrities in LA too? Anyway, number 5 on the board, moving on from LA, staying in the same spot as last week at Vancouver. I do think this 5 is probably as high as Vancouver's going to get on this board. The loss against Toronto tonight was not a matter of them not playing well as much as it was. They get the win over Ottawa, and I think that, maybe there's some fortunate bounces here and there, and tonight it's happening in the win, right? So for Vancouver, this is one of those games that, learning experience and all that. Now they get Montreal. We'll see how they do against Montreal. Montreal's going tonight against Boston, what they can do. So for Vancouver, they've got to refocus and figure out what went wrong here and be ready. And of course, the Smith will start that game in Montreal, and we'll see how things go. But for Vancouver, they just stay in the same spot as last week. I didn't feel like one loss was enough to find somewhere else. Number 4. I just realized something here. Number 4 is Dallas. So number 4, Dallas moves up 2 spots from last week. Impressed with their game today against Winnipeg Jets. One will notice I didn't bust Winnipeg down for that. Winnipeg played really well against Dallas, to be honest. That was a really good game. So I didn't feel like punishing Winnipeg made a lot of sense. Whereas for Dallas, they're playing their game. They're playing relatively well. The results aren't as consistent as I'd like them to be, but Robertson's playing better. I know we're still not getting goals from him. I don't know why I say because I don't play for Dallas. I don't run Dallas. But the team isn't getting from Robertson, I think, what they'd like to be. But was number one on this board a few days ago. They're not number one now. And I had a good laugh when Ross was number one, because I thought, this doesn't seem right. Because I would not say that Boston necessarily is playing the best hockey in the league. And I think Montreal showed tonight. Boston absolutely big team. There's a good lineup there. There's some good young guys in that lineup team. But are they an unbeatable juggernaut? Not really. And so for Boston, maybe they're going to start to descend a little bit here as well, dropping one spot this week. There's Boston, Dallas, and Vancouver. This is an alternate universe we're living in. I don't know how I feel. Number two, dropping one spot from last week is Vegas. So Vegas did get the win last night against San Jose, and they needed a blowout victory, which shows that, they are much better than San Jose. But we need that. And for Vegas, they've had a couple of setbacks. I think that the Vegas Golden Knights are still playing ridiculously well, and their record is almost exactly the same as what they had last year at this time, where I was told it doesn't matter, Vegas isn't that good, they're just in the Pacific. And when I pointed out they were beating teams that weren't in the Pacific, I was told that was Matt Reeder. So for Vegas, they're number two this week, so they've been around number one and number two every week since the season started. Very strong start for Vegas. But number one this week, the best power play in the league, New York Rangers. New York Rangers are lethal on that power play to the point where their last game they only had one. So the New York Rangers now are starting to get that experience in the Oilers game, where all of a sudden they weren't getting power plays anymore. And I don't know if an official is consciously aware that they're raising the bar for what constitutes a penalty against certain teams, because in the back of their head they know how good that power play is. But Edmonton went through this last year, and now it feels like maybe the Rangers are starting to go through it as well. But when that power play clicks, it's insane. And this is a team that's winning with Demang in net. They were winning with Quick in net. They're winning without Shesterkin, which was the one thing that I think we all kind of agreed with was going into this season. Well, the Rangers will go as far as Igor can take them. A, Igor's back hasn't been great. B, he's been hurt for a week now. C, they're still winning. They're still winning, and they're finding ways to win. So the New York Rangers this week are number one on the power ranking board. And I don't know if that's happened before. I feel like that's a... Welcome back. Alright, so 10 more games to review. If you're looking for a review of either of the matinee games, already done, already on the channel, so we're good to go. We've got 10 games tonight, starting with Montreal at home against the Boston Bruins. It was Swayman versus Montembeault. Early press by Boston, and they score. It's Zaka from McAvoy and Marchand with 36 seconds. Tips it in, and early on it looked like, hey, maybe Boston's going to roll. However, the Habs looked to answer. They're forcing turnovers. The Nevin can't bury one. The Habs press. The Habs weren't giving much room out there. The shots are only 2 apiece in 8 minutes, so Montreal did a good job of basically not giving Boston a lot of chances there. Monahan's tonight, Gallagher with a near miss after that. Both teams keeping the shots low in this game. JVR is a rush chance that deflects wide. Jack Eye had a net drive that block. After the first period, it's 1-0 Boston. Second period, Bruins get away with the 2 men on the ice. There were definitely 6 guys. Nothing was said. Habs press are kept to the outside. Swayman's denied on a rush. Fans call one. The referee does it. The Bruins press in 6 minutes. Boston ends up getting a power play. Pasternak has a shot that's saved. They cycle. That's killed off. Shots halfway through the period is 7-6 for Montreal. Heinen has a net drive that's blocked. The Habs strike the other way. You get a power play for the Habs. It's 25 seconds and 5-on-3. The Habs cycle late. The Bruins block and they kill it all off. And then Montreal gets another power play that rolls over into the third period. 33 seconds left in it. And with 10 seconds left in the power play altogether, you score from Matthews in the 22 seconds. So then outside the crease, since the contact was inside the crease, nobody sent Steen into the crease. Yeah, that comes back. We get a power play for the Habs. There's a shorthanded chance for Beecher. That's saved. We end up with 1 minute and 31 seconds of 5-on-3 for Boston. And these overlapping penalties, the Habs kill it off. Shots are 7-4 Boston at the half. Caulfield is a net feed. That's picked off. Boston gets another power play. They score on this one. At 12:58, it's Marchand from Pasternak and McAvoy. Things get pushed in a hole by Montembeault, but we go to overtime. In overtime, each team has an early possession. Matheson's tonight. The Bruins take over. Zaka fires one wide. He would have a shot that was saved. And then Gooley buries a rebound at the Boston net at 2:12. And Montreal wins this one in overtime 3-2. They go to 7-5-2 with victory. Boston 11-1-2 with the overtime loss. Shots on net 6 apiece in the first. 11-7 Montreal in the second. 14-8 Boston in the third. 2-1 Montreal in the overtime. Final shots 28-27 for Boston. Both teams go 1 for 4 on the power play. Hits 27-14 for Montreal. Swayman saves 24 out of 27. Montembeault 26 saves on 28 shots. So very good game for Montembeault. And Montreal, pretty impressive victory. We'll see what happens with them next. Next up, Calgary and Ottawa. So the Sens, they needed a win to get it. For the Flames, more frustration. So it's Wolf versus Corpusalo in this one. Coleman has a wraparound that's saved and held. Shots on net are 3 apiece at 2.5 minutes. So both teams are going early here. Uyghur tonight is Flames press. They get a power play for Calgary. There's a rush chance for Joseph. That saves. Power play's killed off. Flames press after it's done. The Senators press at 8 minutes. Stützle misses one high. And then the point shot is tipped in by Joseph in front of the net. Sanderson and Stützle with the assist at 11:21. So Matthew Joseph on pace for a career year offensively. Lindholm has a rush chance. That's held. Flames go back to the power play. That's killed off. Corpusalo with a hold after that. Lindholm fires one wide from the slot. The Flames press in the final minute. So after the first period, it's 1-0 Ottawa. Pretty evenly played period. Second period. We get a power play for the Senators, and they score on it. It is Batherson from Tkachuk and Chychrun at 3:07, and 4.5 minutes in, the shots are 5-0 for Ottawa. So really fast start for Ottawa. Huberdeau's then robbed on a break, and this is where the Flames start getting some shots. There's a press by the Flames in 6 minutes. Ruzicka hits a post. Uyghur's denied after that. Flames press again. This time they're kept to the outside. Stützle has the shot that's blocked and clears. We get a power play for the Senators. Calgary kills that off. And then on a 2-on-1, it's a cross-ice pass by Pospisil. Coleman buries it. That's at 15:52. Makes it 2-1. Sens look to answer. They end up throwing a power play, but pretty aggressive kill by the Flames there. They kill that off. 34.5 seconds left. The Flames get a power play. So that rolls over to the third period where the Senators finish the kill. Batherson then has a shot that deflects wide, and then Chartier. On a turnover, the Ottawa Senators get another. Kubalik and Batherson with the assist. That's at 3 minutes and 50 seconds. And then, less than 2 minutes later at 5:12, it's Hamonic. He scores from Stützle and Giroux. So a point shot goes in, makes it 4-1. Pospisil is denied the next shift. Then we get a power play for Ottawa. Tarasenko has a shot that's held. That power play is still up, but they're still up by 3. No easy pucks for Calgary in that third period. Really good shutdown period of hockey by Ottawa. Anderson fires one high as the Flames press. They don't get much on the net. They lose this one 4-1. The Sens go to 6-7 with a much-needed victory. Ottawa 4-2 with the loss. Shots on net 12 apiece in the first, 14-11 Ottawa in the second, 12-2 Ottawa in the third. Final shots 38-25 for Ottawa. Power plays Calgary 0-3, Ottawa 1-5. The hits 23-21 for Calgary. Wolves saves 34 out of 38. Corpusalo 24 saves on 25 shots. Nice bounce back game by the Sens. We'll see what they can do here. I will say this, for the number of games we're on tonight, I'm thankful there wasn't a whole lot of goals. Makes it a lot easier on my end personally. And it's not like games weren't entertaining.
Domino's new pepperoni stuffed cheesy bread is the best thing since bacon and jalapeno stuffed cheesy bread, which is the best.
Alright, next up, Carolina and Tampa. Well, for Tampa Bay, I think we're now at a point where we can say Tampa Bay's having some troubles. So it's Kochetkov versus Johansson, good early flows back and forth. We then have a fight between Bunting and Janot. Fast is denied on a net drive. Things get punchy on a Kochetkov hold, and the Canes come up with a power play, and they score on it. It's Teravainen burying a one-timer at the net. Aho and Natchez with the assist at 3:10. Edmund then has a shot that's blocked as both press. The shots are 10-5 for Carolina at the half. They came out bound and determined tonight. Boyd has a turnover chance that's held. The Canes press at 5.5 minutes. Slavin has a shot that's blocked. Tampa Bay clears. And to close out the period, the Canes with some more pressure. So it's 1-0 Carolina after 1. Second period. Canes press at 2.5 minutes. Tampa Bay blocks. And then Aho at 4:32 scores from Svechnikov and Slavin. So now it's 2-0, and with the amount of shots that Carolina's just not giving up, it looks like a daunting task for Tampa Bay to score 3 tonight. Kane's pressuring every single puck. No easy play for Tampa Bay at this point. Stahl has a shot that's helped Kane's draw a power play. Cirelli ends up hitting a post short-handed. They do kill that off. We then get a power play for Tampa. The Canes really don't let them get set up, and they kill that off. That's where you miss Kucherov in the lineup tonight for Tampa. Shots are 8-3 for Carolina with 4 minutes left. The Canes press with 4 minutes left. And the Bolts just not getting shots. They get some zone time here and there. They're just not getting shots on net. So after the second period, it's 2-0. Third period, Chernak, who got hurt in the second period, was not back on the bench for the third. Pretty sure he did not return to the game. Canes with the early edge. DeHaan to Cirelli. There's a near miss there. Bolts press with 3 minutes. We get a power play for Tampa Bay. That's killed off. Shots are 5-1 Tampa at 7 minutes. AC Montgomery one, and then there's some pushing after the hold by Kochetkov. We get a power play for Tampa. That's killed off. And then Burns tips one under the bar as he came out of the box. Shea with the assist at 11 minutes and 20 seconds. So that makes it 3-0. So Tampa Bay's power play backfired right after it's done. The guy out of the box scored. Hagel has a drop pass that's picked off, really showing how Tampa Bay had nothing going for them tonight. The early goalie pull happened. With 4:14 left, the Canes get a power play, and Nason would score from Bunting and Burns at 17:54, and trickles through. Just after the power play came to an end. So Carolina with a big victory tonight, 4-0. They go to 9-6 on the season. Tampa Bay drops to 6-5-4 with 1-6. Kochetkov saved all 22 shots for his, I believe, his first victory of the season, and also his first shutout. Johansson, 28 saves on 32 shots with the other night. All right, moving on. Vancouver. So, I mean, this is the kind of game you knew was going to come. If you look at PDO, and if you don't know what PDO is, look it up. The PDO number for Vancouver is going to be 96. And any anytime that a team has an incredibly high consistency, 31 saves on 33 shots for Samsonov, here's hoping he's turning it around. That being said, change wood. Or number 2, Washington and the New York Islanders. So, it was Shepard versus Varlamov, and Shepard won. I'm so happy that he's getting the opportunity, and I'm glad that he had a really good game. We're trying to call and think about making the backup next season. So, early impressed by the Islanders. The shots were 4-2 in their favor, 4 minutes in, but it was the Capitals' opening scoring, and it's Ovechkin. So, goal number 825, it was a face-off win, so the Capitals with the helper at 9:16. And Ovechkin was the third of the season there. Caps looked at another, with a strong forecheck by the Islanders. Barzal was shot was blocked with the flex out. Alexiev was picked off. Horvat and Canterbury won a coach, cleared out. Romanov has a shot was blocked. The next one fired wide. Palmieri's tonight at the Islanders press. McMichael has the rush chance that stage. The Islanders press for 2 minutes, but eventually their opportunities came off. Romanov scored from Horvat to 17. Was 1-1, and with 2 seconds left in the period, power play. So, second period, the Capitals do finish that kill. Horvat has a one-timer with save. Jensen has an end drive that's defended. We get a power play for Washington. That's killed off. Shots are 9-6 Washington in 9.5 minutes. Game balls and Nelson are near miss there. Islanders are forcing turnovers. Honestly, they look better team with one working for the team. Bonus has a rush chance that's defended. And then Dowd was first of the season. Ovies is down with Carlson with the assist at 13:05. So all set is 3-1 Washington. Ottawa with the blast of Telmo. Ottawa with the net charge that's defended. And in the final minute is Protas getting on the board from Phillips and McMichael in 1918. Buries that one in close. The Islanders guilty of puck chasing there rather than staying in their lane where they're supposed to be. And that makes it 3-1 Washington after the second period. That's the McNuggets goal Washington. So third period, Major McNuggets ready. So early press by the Islanders, stretch pass to Horvat misses. The shots are 3-0 for the Islanders press at 8.5 minutes. Again, the Islanders had a lot of opportunities. Just Shepard was racking up the saves. Mallenstein's tonight on a break. The Islanders press with 5 minutes left. Pullins tonight, more pressure. Goalie pull happens with 3:15 left. Dawson has a blast to Scott and Helton. And then Ovechkin gets the empty net. He gets that from Mallenstein in 17 and 1957. So that's goal number 826. Fourth of the season, and it is his 56th career empty net goal. And ties him with Gretzky for the all-time lead. So one of those oddities. But yeah, Washington goes in, they win this one big time. 4-1. They go to 7-4-2 in the season. The Islanders slip to 5-5-3. Shots on net 12-7 Islanders in the first, 15-9 Washington in the second, 16-6 Islanders in the third. They do outshoot Washington 37-28. Both teams go 0-1 on the power play. It's 17 each. Shepard 36 saves on 37 shots. Varlamov 24 saves on 27 shots. So yeah, Hunter Shepard, not too shabby. I saw that in the playoffs last year in the Calder Cup final. I was very impressed by DeCord and Shepard. Both of them have decent nice strength. All right, next up, Buffalo and Pittsburgh. So for Buffalo, they can't get it one game after another. It's getting frustrating to watch if you're a Buffalo fan. So Elizabeth versus Charlie. Yogi Hardy was the net drive that held. He had some saves in the Penguins. Early turnover issues as well. Buffalo's just not converting to the goal. Harris throws out the rush in that held. Shots at 8-4 Buffalo. Majority of the chance to block. Penguins get some pressure. The pressure again in 9 minutes. Malkin's 9 on the turnover. Skinner has an SD. That's picked off. We get a power play for Buffalo. That's killed off. Sabres have a 2-1 that triples, and then in 1901, it's not Morgan Cousins for Washington. It's the final minute goal. Malkin scores some grace from Buffalo. And he puts that one in off the back of Lucan and Matt. Basically off the net. No count or nothing. Sabres do press to respond, but they were out of time. So 1-0 Pittsburgh after 1. Second period. Shots are 4-1 Penguins at 5.5 minutes. Buffalo not getting much going at that point. Jordan was solid when the Sabres were getting pressure as well to get a power play for the Penguins. Late cycle, the Sabres blocked the Dallas shot to sell that power play. Shots are 7.5 minutes. Cancel the crossing here and there. Three-way has a chance. That's picked off. Neither team getting to the net late until at 16:24 O'Connor. Splits one under Lucan's arm on rush. Eller and Graves with the assist. Don't think I'm writing anything on the board wrong here. Penguins then look for another, and after 2 periods of play, it is 2-0. So, third period, early on, Crosby with a power play marker. Carlson and Smith with the assist at 27 seconds. So, Crosby with a goal there. Penguins press at 3 minutes. Already got 3-0, of course. We get a power play for Buffalo. That's filled off. Dropped at 3 minutes. We get a power play with the Penguins. All the way filled off. Sabres press are kept to the net. Penguins press also kept to the net for both teams, depending on what this game. During the close, the goalie pull happens with 4 minutes left. And then Gensel doesn't hit the empty net, so Carlson does. He gets the empty net at 18-11. They can score 4-0. So in the end, Pittsburgh 7-6 with the 4-0 win. Buffalo 7-7-1 with the loss. Stuff on that 15-14 Pittsburgh in the first, 14-11 Pittsburgh in the second, 11-10 Pittsburgh in the third. Final shots 40-35 for the Penguins. Power play Buffalo 0-2 Pittsburgh 1-3 to hit, 17-10 for Buffalo. Lucan had 36 saves on 39 shots. He was good, but Jari saved all 35 shots at the other end. So the Senators, which is probably better. So yeah, Pittsburgh, they've taken that 3-game winning streak on the road. They brought it home. Currently they're playing the road game at home. Good on them. And they're about 500 now. All right, next up, Arizona and Nashville. This is where all the goals went. All of the goals went here, and this part of this board is where all the goals scoring happened. So Ingram versus Saros, they had a nice ceremony for Ryan O'Reilly for 1,000 games. Not the best game for 1,000 game ceremony, though. So anyways, Carrying tonight, it'll be for Nashville. There's tonight, even pretty busy. The top is 5-1 Nashville, 2.5 minutes in. All the big ones, that's Arizona's not their 8 games. And then 5-12 on a rush. Service, first, and Evangelista. So far, yeah. Coyotes press to response at 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Nice way scored from Forsberg and Lauzon. So suddenly it's 2-0 Nashville. How bad could this get? And Nashville presses for another spot. But only answers from Cooley at 9:15. Then we get a power play for Nashville. That's filled off. Instead of the near miss, the Fred rush. And then Stetcher on a net try out of the box. So power play and then out of the box. Stetcher is scoring for Moser at 14:03. So watch the guy coming out of the box. That's twice that happens. The guy coming out of the box gets the goal. That makes it 2-2. But Nashville gets it back at 16:57. Fabro and Yosi Forsberg. And Fabro has a blast to save as they see 4. So after the first period, it's 3-2 Nashville. Second period, we get a power play for Nashville, and they score on it. O'Reilly, with his 12-6 for 1,000 games. He scores the Novak and Yosi at 3.8. Coyotes press at 5 minutes. Then they get a power play. That power play is pretty good tonight. Keller scores from Cooley and Jersey at 7:17. Coyotes press at the half. Eventually they get one. Kerfoot with his first goal of the Coyotes. Scores from Lloyd Number at 12.8. They get a power play for the Coyotes. That's killed off. And then in 1907, so again, it's 7 minutes. Carconi scores from Moser. So going down. Michael Carconi is a pretty good offensive player in the National Hockey League. Arizona did a very good job of making him a good player. So, after the second period, the score is 5-4 in favor of Arizona. Again, it's 12 goal run. Third period, early power play for the Nashville Predators. Ingram holds with Evangelista on the doorstep. That's still up. Pressed by Nashville in 4 minutes. We get a power play for the Coyotes. There's a near miss for Logan Cooley. They cycle, that's killed off. Then there's a delay game call, get Nashville power play. That was killed off as well. They get pushed in a hole by Ingram. Novak fires from wide on a 3-on-2, and then scores for 5 the game from Nyquist and Fabro in 13:57. The flush gets to the crowd. And I thought, all right, maybe we'll go to overtime. Nope. Power play for Arizona, and they score on it. It's Jersey from Keller and Cooley at 16:33. Good cycle and buried by Jersey. And then they pull the goalie in at 18:33. He's got to hit the empty net from Keller. The final score is 7-5 for Arizona. They go to 7-6-1 on the season. Nashville drops to 5-9. So for Nashville, it just feels like it's going in the wrong direction quickly. Drops on that 17-11 Nashville in the first, 10-6 Nashville in the second, 14-8 Nashville in the third. They actually outshoot Arizona 41-25. Power plays Arizona 2-for-4, Nashville 1-for-4. The hits 24-20 for Nashville. Ingram 6-36 out of 41. Saros 15 saves on 24 shots. Ugly stat line for Saros. Arizona's pretty good when they're on. And tonight, clearly, they were on. All this board is probably, to me anyways, the most surprising result. Colorado really needs to turn this around, and it did not happen tonight. So it's Bennington versus Georgia. And right away, we know this could go back because it's got to do out of because St. Louis scores and then paid in. It's Shen from Krug and Paul. Corey Krug is finally starting to put on points. The Avs press for response, O'Connor denied Bennington hold. The Avs press in 3.5 minutes. The shots on net are 5 apiece at 6.5 minutes. The 2-6 tonight in close. We get a power play to move. That's tailed off. The Avs press with 4.5 minutes left. Caves is denied. There's more pressure by the Avs right there. Shen, it's a rush. Shen is tapped in. Stott with the assist at 18:53. And then on a face-off win in that final minute at 19:58, so 600 minutes, Krug from Thomas and Paul. So 19:58, yep. And so all of a sudden it's 3-0 St. Louis. You've got a very quiet crowd in Denver, and we're going to the second period. Blues are forcing one on a rebound. Shots are 4-3 Avalanche in 9 minutes. You get a power play for the Avs. There's a near miss by McCarr, the Avs cycle, and then it's a short-handed goal. But Davis on a rush scores from Franklin to Borrego at 11:53. Just listed at a 2-on-1. Nicely played. And suddenly it's 4-0. Blues finish the kill. We then get a power play for the Blues. That's killed off as well. And then Colorado does get on the board. It's 16:07. It's Ranson and picking one in. McCarr and McKinnon with the assists. And again, you kind of expect Colorado to have some sort of comeback, some sort of fight back. It doesn't last that long. So Kapanen has a one-timer kick aside, and then Tatar with what I just quoted there, Tatar dumb penalty to closing. It was offensive, so there's no reason for him to take a penalty in the closing seconds. It was like a second and a half left in the game. So third period, and St. Louis scores on the resulting power play. Chris Davis from Thomas to Shen at 1 minute 20 seconds, and he bruised that one too, so it looked very similar to the shorthand goal we had. Kapanen tonight on a break. The Blues come up with a power play, and they score on it. It is Shen and Thomas and Kyler at 2:49. That's two power play goals. Two power play goals. Yep, no, that's right. I just didn't put power play goal next to the name. Because the Avs doesn't call me power play goal that often anymore. In fact, it does when they're not power play goals. It's fun. Anyway, so yeah, Shen and Thomas and Kyler at 2:49, and we are in the midst of a laughter at this stage. So the fourth career hat-trick for Shen, and that takes our gear kick and goes across the top. Paul has a shot hit the side to go to the ball blue. I can't describe it. Across the top was solid in the lead. 7-13 left the power play. That's still the Avs go back to the power play. And it's another short-handed goal for a hat-trick for this game. So short-handed goal, same 3 goals together. And 2 players with hat-tricks in the same game. So I think going back to 1986, last time that happened for St. Louis. Wow. Thomas with the assist at 15:57. And then in 1911, every minute, Torchenko from Sundquist. And then, Jack Johnson answers for Colorado in 1932. So it makes it 8-2. It's still an over game. For St. Louis, they go to 7-5-1 with the win. For Colorado, 8-5. This looks good until you realize they were 7-0. They lost 5-6. So shots on net 17-13, St. Louis in first, 11-6, Colorado in second, 19-14, St. Louis in the third, final time 42-38, St. Louis, power play from 2-4, Colorado 0-3, against 18-13 for St. Louis. Bennington was fantastic, overshadowed by a goal scoring 36 saves on 38 shots. European was not. 22 saves on 28 shots, and brought it to the top. It was okay in the lead. He allowed 2 goals on 14 shots. So for Colorado, they need to figure it out now. That being said, okay, cool. Alright, so Edmonton, they needed this, right? And for Seattle, this again, they come up against an Alberta team that's kind of on the edge to down anything. So it's Skinner versus early jump for Oilers. I also want to say that Jack Campbell started again tonight for Bakersfield and Abbotsford. They did not go well for Jack Campbell. So if you're wondering how Jack Campbell's done both games in Abbotsford, not great. Anyway, and I say that honestly because Jack Campbell is supposed to be a great, really nice guy. It's sad to see this stuff go on. But anyway, early jump for the Oilers. Ekholm at the shot is blocked to the side. Board with a rush chance catch defended. Colvin tonight and close. The rebound is clear. Schwartz fires one high on his own end. The shots are 3-1 Oilers in 6 minutes. The Oilers press in 7 minutes. Tarkey has a blast with Tell, and then 9:56 Hyman scores from Canadian. The Oilers then press for another, things get punched in a hole by Grubauer. The Oilers play after the power play. That was killed off. Johnny has a shot right after that stage. The Oilers go back to the power play and they score on this one. Hyman scores very loose puck. He started to hit the top of the assist to 14-9. That means he was the lead. You get a power play for Seattle, that's killed off. Just the one shot on net, and then 18-40. It's a loose puck that gets buried by Hyman. The Nashville hat-trick is born. So, 3 goals in the first three for Zach Hyman, and then in the Nugget Canada, 1942. Holloway from McLeod and Steve. Maybe it was like a McNugget Canada. I mean, that's a little bit anyways, with that Holloway goal from McLeod and CC, it's 4-0 Oilers after the first period. And I feel like the Oilers decided, well, that's good. No, we're good. So the court starts the second period. Johnny is an end at that stage. ARNA defends a rush chance by Shane Wright. The Oilers controlling every shift at this point. They get 2 minutes to 4-on-4. The nearest hard one wide in the rush. Kraken press at 7.5 minutes. Holloway is robbed. The Kraken clear after that. We have 7 shots for Seattle halfway through the game. That's it. Just 7 shots halfway through this game. So, yeah. 2:15 left. The Oilers get a power play. It lasts 3 seconds. Becomes 4-on-4. The Oilers finish tonight in the final minutes. It remains 4-0 after the third period. You get a power play for Seattle and they score it. It's 25 and scores. So his point streak continues. Coleman and Zach with the assist. It goes in off the skate, but there's no kicking motion, so it counts. Oilers look to respond. They don't get a shot. Heavy press by the Kraken at 4.5 minutes. The shot for 5-0 Seattle at 8.5 minutes. We had a fight between Holloway and Dunn. Draisaitl fires from wide on